You're listening to Wellbeing Connection, the CMHA Manitoba and Winnipeg podcast. I'm your host, James Wellsman.
The Canadian Mental Health Association, Manitoba and Winnipeg, wishes to acknowledge that we are gathered in Treaty 1 territory at the crossroads of the Anishinaabe, Métis, Cree, Dakota, Ojibwe nations, and on the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe peoples and the homeland of the Métis Nation.
None of the content in this podcast is intended to replace the advice given to you by your medical team. If you are in crisis, please phone the Manitoba Suicide Prevention and Support Line at 1-877-435-7170 or text CONNECT to 686868 for the Kids Help Phone.
Well, we are excited to continue our conversation with Levi Labelle, our manager for the Integrated Youth Hub, downtown Winnipeg. We are thrilled to report that we have a construction date. We start right after the long weekend on August 3rd. Couldn't be more pleased with our friends at Westland Construction who are heading up our project. And also, we have just one more week to give to ridedon'thide.com/Manitoba as we are really looking to create more funds for programming, cultural programming. And so, Levi, maybe let's chat about that. Let's chat about, what is cultural programming look like in the Integrated Youth Hub?
Well, thank you for having me back. At the Youth Hub, we recognize that we are going to be meeting youth from many, many walks of life. And in our neighborhood in particular, there's just a tremendous wealth of diversity of backgrounds and cultures who are going to be, that we see on the streets, but also who are going to be visiting us in the hub. And so we want to make sure that we are providing programming that is reflective of the community itself. People want to receive services from people that they can trust. And sometimes, that means, having a face that reflects the cultural background that you come from. And, also, as we think about, truth and reconciliation, and what our part is in that, we know that including and embedding, cultural perspectives, particularly Indigenous cultural perspectives, is so important. And so, we do have, we have spaces, and we hope many program elements that are going to celebrate our Indigenous participants.
Yeah, it really sounds like this inclusiveness is really at the core of the values of the Integrated Youth Hub.
Absolutely. And, I don't know if you've had this experience yourself, but, sometimes, when you attend an event or you go someplace, sometimes the diversity can feel like it's an add-on. It's something that came as an afterthought. And, with the development of the Youth Hub, it has been intentional 100% of the way. So we are constantly thinking about how to include diverse voices in everything from paint colors to carpeting swatches to programs. So it is a very intentional and embedded underpinning of all of the programming that we are doing.
Yeah, I just love hearing about the intentionality of programming. And we've talked about the core partners of this Integrated Youth Hub. And now I think it's a really great opportunity, Levi, if you can really share about the kind of the environmental scan of the community and some of those other stakeholders that are just really thrilled to be a part of the Integrated Youth Hub.
Yeah, absolutely. So in the lead up to us opening the doors, I've been, really reaching out to so many organizations in the community. As we know, particularly in the West Broadway community, there are many, many organizations, as well as in the downtown area and beyond. So I have been very slowly, but purposely reaching out to organizations who work with youth in particular and have youth programming, and seeing how we can partner and what new things can we bring together to centralize for youth to partake in. So one partner I would say is the Needs Center. Needs stands for Newcomers Employment and Education Development Services, and they're located downtown. We are partnering to bring together a few pieces of programming. One will be looking at the effects of COVID and how racism has impacted COVID. So we will have a number of participants who are going to be developing a toolkit around that, as sort of an exploratory educational piece. We are been talking to the Rainbow Resource Center and like that to bring 2S LGBTQ programming to the site. So we will have both of them providing different kinds of programming. One will be more of a drop-in, and the other one will be more of an education piece. We've been talking to the Spence Street Neighborhood Association. They are very excited that we're going to be able to partner around some mental health work that we're hoping to do. We've been talking to SERC, so Sexuality Education Resource Center, to provide some safer sex health education, reproductive health education, but also things around internet safety and healthy parenting. So I think there's a lot of things that we're going to be bringing, and this is the tip of the iceberg. There are so many others that we are still working on and are coming in the next few months. So I know we are going to have it's going to be a hive of activity, and I'm very excited about it.
There's going to be this hub of excitement of the participants, of the facilitators, of the peer supporters, the Discovery College courses that are going to be happening, all these partners, all these stakeholders coming together under one roof, one place to do these programming pieces. And it really sounds exciting in terms of this co-design, this co-production posture that we take here at the CMHA. And maybe just help our listeners understand what we mean by co-production and co-design.
Okay, so we really wanted to build from the Discovery College model out into the rest of our programming, because we know this model works really well for courses. We thought it could also work really well for how we program. So we have, as I mentioned, I think the last time we met, we are engaging youth in advisory committees, and those youth are really going to be instrumental to how we roll out programming and who we choose to have in the space and what that's going to look like. Youth are the experts in their own lives. They know what it is that they need. I could probably write a program, in 20 minutes and, hire people and have them come and deliver it. But it won't be the program that
it's going to disconnect, needs. Isn't it? It's going to be a big failure. Absolutely.
Absolutely. The youth are going to be like, what is that? Right?
Yeah. And it's like not that intentional process that you're talking about. It's really listening and hearing. And I've been a part of these co-design opportunities where, the scribe is writing word for word. So they're not kind of, reframing it or rephrasing it. It's really talking about, like, what do you want to see in the course? What's important? What are the resources that you think might really be helpful for those that are taking this course within this topic or theme? And it's really brilliant, where they decide, is this a 1 hour course? Is this a 1 of 2 hour course? Is this going to happen for 3 sessions? It's really exciting to see how that course can evolve over time too. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Levi, people who are participating at some time will be able to maybe be trained to help co-facilitate.
Yeah, that is really the goal. So, one of the fantastic parts about this is how participatory this process really is, and that because we're all equals, we're all learners as well, right? So no one is the only expert. We're all experts, and we're all learners. And so part of this process is about learning the skills evolved to create a course, so curriculum development, and on the flip side is also facilitation, right? Which we know can translate into so many other areas in life. So the participants will have the opportunity to perhaps co-facilitate the training that they have themselves created. And what ends up happening from this is as a tremendous sense of empowerment and ownership over the materials that you've created. So we want that experience to translate not just to the coursework, but also to the program itself, right? So when participants come to the hub and they look at the wall colors and they go, you know what? They can look at their friend and say, I chose that wall color over there.
Absolutely.
And this is why, right? And, or they can be like, the reason why they do this kind of program there is because I showed up and I said so, right? And people can take real ownership of this space and make it really a part of their community.
Yeah, and this is what makes the integrated youth hub so special, right? It's not just a youth hub, it's the integration of other people in our community coming together, as well as the participants. Again, as you share the experts in their own lives and experiences, really being able to transform this integrated youth hub to a space that really works for everyone. We often say at the CMHA, there's something for everyone. And it really sounds like the Integrated Youth Hub is another space where those that come are going to be welcomed. We have a whole bunch of people from the surrounding community that have really just championed and are cheering this on. We know that we have a construction date. It's going to take some time for that construction to happen. We're looking later in the fall for those doors to open in the West Broadway neighborhood. And again, for our audience, we're really excited that, Ride Don't Hide for the last 9 weeks with these podcasts have been really highlighting the importance of youth mental health and the work that continues to go on. And as I think of, people who have done this, for next week, James is back. Super excited to have him back with Brandon to give us an update on Ride Don't Hide as we wind down the month of July, but also somebody who did something absolutely extraordinary in their own neighborhood where they were, moving more, giving more, and feeling better. And so we're really excited to have that person on. And again, James will be hosting that with Brandon. And I hope you all will tune in. If you've really enjoyed these podcasts, we'd love for you to share that with your friends, your family, your networks. Like us, all those wonderful things. Tweet it out. We can reach greater audiences with your support. The other piece I want to leave with people is that as we move into the new school year, I know that the month of August, we're really going to be focusing on how do we prepare ourselves for that in-classroom learning? How do we prepare ourselves to maybe even see people we haven't seen in school for so long because we've been away from school, whether it's post-secondary or high school, middle school, whatever that is. We want to be providing some tools, some resources, and I know James and I are just thrilled to bring you a whole heap of community people talking about what they do every day for people to connect their well-being and to be better people at the goals that they have in their life to flourish and to change this world. So again, Levi, we are thrilled that you have joined us. You will not, be silent around these walls. We know that you are busy making things happen, giving tours, and now with construction happening. Levi, the last word, what are you most excited about in these next 2 to 3 months?